Karmelo Anthony is facing 5 to 99 years, yo. Now, I've heard about this situation. I've heard about this incident. And let me just tell y'all what I heard about it, because I knew nothing about it until like last week. So, long story short, what I heard was he was being bullied at school, and he simply defended himself.
Time out. We not dealing with all that. Pro tip, if you don't know about something or you have limited knowledge on something, don't get on social media saying, well, I had heard from somebody what I had heard this, I had heard that, because you look stuck, stupid, and dumb, and you are missing finite details just because you're too lazy to pick up your phone and instead of recording, look at everything that's out right now, and then you will be caught up to speed on everything. For those of you who are not aware, Karmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf, and it's been this great spectacle that is the definition and a litmus test to how people really don't look at information critically. They're really interested in their own narratives and fan fictions. And he has been indicted for killing Austin Metcalf.
Good afternoon. Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. For weeks now, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury, and today I summarized that evidence, and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job both fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. As for the scheduling of the trial, that will be up to the court, but when the time comes, we will be ready. Now, we know that this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond, and that's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves. We're also mindful of Austin's family and everyone who loved him. Please keep them in your thoughts, and if you're willing, your prayers as well. Finally, let's remember that a defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
And in a real civil society, I could hear that announcement and I could say, okay, now they're going to go to court. Now they're going to go through all the evidence that they have, and they're either going to prove that he did it as a malicious intent, or they're going to prove he did it in self-defense. And we're going to come to that in conclusion, and we could go home satisfied that this story has reached a conclusion. But I don't live in a civil society. I live in a society where it's more interesting to have random fan fictions with unverified victims running around saying that they were there, or they had a kid that was there, or they had a friend's kid that were there. I live in a world where we got people who will go to the crime scene, record a substance on the ground, and say, oh my God, this is the blood of Austin Metcalf. And it was confirmed that that was not the blood of Austin Metcalf. I live in a world where if you antagonize the grieving father who's simply saying, hey, don't turn my son's death into what I've seen for years, your random racial hatred towards each other, and you look at the father and say, fuck him, you're gonna be the reason, if you don't side with us, that we're gonna have more dead white kids. I shudder to understand how everyone could just ignore the words of the attorney or whoever that was that gave the announcement about how this could all go nice and smooth if we just let it play out in court. All this extra flan fluff is not necessary. It often wastes everybody's time, because while you trying to pick up scraps, trying to find information, they're going through the process slow to make sure that it's correct. Why? Well, maybe for a million reasons, but I think it's because they want, whether if it's the prosecution side or the defense side, to be the one who wins in the end. And no amount of catering to random people who are not even in the state or don't really care too much, but it gets them traction, is not going to help in either side scenario. What they both need to focus on is their strong cases for how they could potentially win in court, because it's not going to come down to the public opinion. It's going to come down to the court's opinion. And if they can't satisfy that, Karmelo Anthony's probably going to go to jail. Or if the prosecution can do their good job at fucking something up, the defense is going to come in with a strong case and Karmelo Anthony is going to walk completely free.
Now, I also heard that he was wrong because he brought, you feel me, he brought something to school to defend himself. He brought it to school. And yeah, you're not supposed to have that at school. Yeah, I understand that. I understand the rules. I understand the regulations. I get it. But what nobody else is understanding is him. Now, I'm not throwing it off on him. You know, this dude, he's no longer with us no more. You feel me? So it's like it's kind of up in the air. But as I was reading the comments, Carmelo Anthony has a lot of support behind him. And for something like this, he's facing a lot of time for it. And I don't really agree with the time. If you want to go by book, I mean, I don't know. Y'all got to help me out with this one. And there's also a lot of people, you know, in the comments that was saying that, you know, he was being set up. And that could potentially be true. But I'm going to just tell y'all how the legal system is looking at this. They're looking at it like we have somebody that is no longer with us no more, regardless of what happened in the situation. And even in self-defense, they still look at it like that. And they still try to give the person that defended themselves time. And it's so sad that our system is like this. Crazy thing is, it takes so long for something like this, for a case like this to go through. And it's still always one-sided for some reason. Like, it really makes no sense.
Well, it's official. Carmelo Anthony has been charged with first-degree M. I mean, this is America. A black person defending himself against a white person has never worked out really in a black person's favor. So, you know, now if the colors would have been flipped, it would have been a whole different story. But because he's defending himself, you know, that's what we read, right? We read self-defense, right? But, you know, of course, people didn't take it that way. So yeah. I'll pray for this young man. This attorney has said that, you know, he's been presenting evidence to a grand jury to you know, I guess prove his point that it should be first degree, and officially that I guess they came to their senses to say let's charge him for first degree M. Like I said, bro, America.
All right, y'all. So breaking news: Carmelo Anthony has officially been indicted by the grand jury and officially faces first-degree murder for the unalivement of Austin Metcalf. So, white folks, you guys got exactly what you wanted.
Hey, dumbass, I got a question. Why were you one of the people running around saying that a cleat sharpener exists? Why were you co-signing that? Why were you sitting there pretending like that was a real thing that you should post about? In a time where you would want Carmelo Anthony to be innocent, you're spreading bullshit for the sake of bullshit and traction, and you ought to be fucking embarrassed by that. But now that we've gotten this announcement, of course, all these people are going to spend however much time until the court date throughout the entire court process, and when we get to the final verdict, bitching, moaning, coming up with stories, acting as if that's credible information, and wasting people's time. There's a reason why this story has aggravated the absolute fuck out of me. It's because there are so many people spouting anything because it's gaining them traction online. This story has somehow gotten a lot of people attention in mass to where it's the only thing that they're going to focus on. Why? Because they got nothing else. They got nothing that they can chase. There's no carrot dangling in front of them. This is all they got. And it's going to come down to how this ends that will really fuck a lot of people up, because you've seen people lie and lie hard for the sake of their own traction online. They've lied for the sake of trying to get people to recognize what their point is, which is either, oh my God, this is a corrupt society, or oh my God, this is a racist corrupt society. And it's all wasting your time. I've been saying it from jump. You either getting a plea deal, guilty or not guilty. He's either gonna walk or he's going to jail. And I don't care, 5 years, 99 years, life, however the sentence structure is gonna go. If he walks, it's his own fucking fault, and he set himself up to where his defense team couldn't fucking help him out. Yes, I've heard about this footage that people keep saying has been leaked online. It has not. People got approved to go see it and write about it, not be able to record it to post it online, and based on verbiage from all these fucking sources, it seems as if it's gonna come down to some strong witness testimony, because this fucking video is either grainy as fuck or it's too pixelated for you to even make out how anybody's moving up until the point of the fucking stab.
Our public information request with Frisco ISD was met on Monday. We could only watch the before and after of an April 2nd alleged stabbing at a school track meet that led to the death of one student and the arrest of another. The district didn't give it to us, but allowed us to watch it. The video is available for limited viewing only, citing student privacy and school security. There is no audio. Try to picture this. We're on the 4th floor. We walk into a room and there's a TV with a shot showing half of Kirkendall Stadium. It's a wide shot from the opposite side. And everything that happens in one very small fraction of the screen in the upper left-hand corner. We couldn't zoom in, it's blurry, pixelated. You cannot identify or see victim Austin Metcalf or suspect Karmelo Anthony.
It is hard to tell how many people are under that memorial tent. It's also hard to tell what they're doing. But we do know that about 9:55, there's a lot of commotion, a lot of activity that happens at the top side of that memorial tent all the way down to the bottom. At this point, it is hard to tell, and it does not show on camera the alleged stabbing. We do know that there are a lot of people that run away from that scene soon after.
We notice a number of what appear to be students running across the bleachers from many directions away from the tent. More people on the field start to notice and also run toward the back gate and exit.
Okay, at about 9 minutes after the alleged stabbing, we see EMS drive right through to the backside of this stadium, and they park midfield.
Next, we notice paramedics wheeling out a gurney, but have to walk all the way back to the gate and to the bleachers. There's a lot of activity at the bottom of those bleachers and what appears to be the triage of Austin Metcalf. 15 minutes after the incident, we see people put the tarp over the bleachers, which our helicopter cameras captured.
All right, so looking at the timing, there's 26 minutes between the time of the alleged stabbing and the time EMS leaves Kirkendall Stadium with Austin Metcalf. At the same time, what appear to be officers, they are at the crime scene right next to that tent.
All of this video will one day be shown in court. A grand jury may see it too in the coming weeks. The attorney for Karmelo Anthony confirms he's seen it, but neither family has disclosed whether they've seen it.
There's no audio that could deduce what the fuck is going on. There's no way that you can make out who's who in the scenario up until the stabbing. And you got people motioning to the point where the brother's holding his dying brother in his arms and they gotta bring the ambulance in and take him out. There's really nothing else to this right now. There's nothing that could be out in the ether for anybody to see. And honestly, I don't want it out there for people to see. Not until we get this well and over with. Why? Because we don't need a bunch of motherfuckers twisting and turning their own narratives off of what they will see online. A fucking police report came out and motherfuckers picked and choose certain words in a police report to say he's innocent or he's guilty. So when it all comes down to it, when we get that in conclusion, a lot of motherfuckers aren't going to be satisfied. Why? Because instead of looking at the truth, instead of looking at all the evidence, instead of looking at the facts, instead of listening to the witness testimonies and getting the documentation needed to actually be credible, it is more important to spout a fucking narrative than it is to be someone who is credible. And that is what pisses me off the most about this entire thing. Rest in peace to Austin Metcalf. Still feel bad for the father that he got put in a scenario where he's apparently getting blamed by some dumb motherfuckers who want to go to and from on a Trump bus, lying about information that he's apparently the reason why we're gonna get more dead white kids. I'm pissed off. They got motherfuckers going to and fro talking about, oh, but I heard this story on Facebook, thinking that that's gonna save anybody in terms of trying to find out the truth. And at the end of it all, we're gonna see how this plays out. We're gonna see how it all transpires, whether if they live stream it in court or if we all just see it from Twitter updates or court documents being updated to the public. So I suggest, for the upteenth fucking time, everybody just sit back, wait, and you will get to the end. If you choose to want to be the hero to steadfast this, I promise you, much like the various people you've seen in this video, you will look stuck, stupid, dumb, slow, and you will suffer the verbal lashings of the sexiest black YouTubers. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah! Goodbye.